Look at the touchline of any major football match 20 years ago, and you saw absolute authority. A single man controlling the transfers, the training, and the scouting. Today, that tailored suit shouting instructions on the sideline is mostly theater. For decades, clubs built their rosters around the subjective gut instinct of those coaches and their board members. They watched a player, liked their style, and spent millions. This approach routinely resulted in massive financial losses, with clubs overspending on players whose actual output on the pitch never matched their price tag. To fix this, the industry restructured. Elite clubs rarely hire a manager anymore. They hire a head coach. Instead of centralizing all operational power in one person, modern ownership groups place a data department at the top of the hierarchy, feeding a strict tactical blueprint down to the coach. The person pacing the technical area isn't the one defining the club's direction. Power over a team's destiny has been quietly transferred away from the grass and into the server room. Take Brighton and Hove Albion. When they lose a star player or a successful coach, traditional sporting logic says the team should collapse. Instead, they don't skip a beat. Their resilience comes from proprietary algorithms. Brighton's data department feeds historical performance metrics and transfer trends into artificial neural networks. These deep learning algorithms process the complex data to identify undervalued talent across the globe that traditional human scouts completely miss. This mathematical profiling extends to the coaching staff. When a head coach departs, the data department searches their database for a replacement whose specific tactical parameters match the system they've already built. In this paradigm, the tactical system is permanent. The human coach is simply a module installed to run the existing code. This control extends beyond the transfer window. It dictates what happens during the live 90 minutes of a match. Advanced optical cameras now track the ball and all 22 players simultaneously. They break the pitch down into a continuous stream of mathematical coordinates, capturing positioning and velocity 25 times every second. Instead of relying on possession stats, data scientists evaluate the match using a live probability matrix called expected threat, or XT. This metric calculates how much an action increases the probability of scoring. If a winger makes a safe backward pass, the XT percentage immediately drops. The server room instantly flags that decision as an inefficiency. A manager's subjective eye test cannot compete with software that evaluates every inch of grass as a live probability matrix. The technology is pushing even further. AI models like TacticGen shift analytics from predicting what might happen to generating the exact coordinated instructions needed to achieve a tactical goal. When a player consistently lowers their team's expected threat, the algorithm highlights the failure. An analyst sitting in the stadium gantry monitors this data feed in real time. That analyst speaks directly into a headset, relaying the machine's required correction down to an assistant coach sitting on the bench. This means that mid-game substitutions or tactical shifts often bypass traditional managerial intuition. Instead of waiting for a subjective feeling, the bench is executing a specific adjustment demanded by the numbers. By reducing the sport to geometric patterns, these systems have begun isolating and removing the game's ultimate variable, the unpredictable superstar. For decades, teams were built around the classic number 10 playmaker, players permitted to drift out of possession, waiting to execute a brilliant through ball. Those luxury roles cannot survive modern tactical frameworks. Systems like high-intensity gegenpressing require absolute defensive compliance from every single player to function. If one player stops to rest, the entire structure fails. When individual creative risks fail to align with the algorithm's risk-reward matrix, the player is categorized as a liability. The system has effectively squeezed out the time and space needed for solo heroics. In a state of total tactical universality, players are no longer allowed to be specialized saviors. They are merely interchangeable cogs. Look at the top tier of the sport today, and you find a heavily engineered landscape. Every major club utilizes nearly identical, automated positional rotations and high-intensity, low-risk ball retention. By prioritizing these high-probability patterns, the elite game has moved toward a state of mechanical efficiency. It is more productive than it was 30 years ago, but it is also more uniform. The era of the football savior was not defeated by stronger athletes or smarter rivals. It was quietly assassinated by spreadsheets.